It's the Crusader Corner. Men's and women's soccer, they're still playing as they move on in the conference tournament. Great weekend for Belmont Abbey. We'll tell you about it after this on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. It was a great weekend for Belmont Abbey. Postseason action all around, and that meant a lot of successes for the Crusaders. Cross country, the women finished 18th at the NCAA Southeast Regional, while the men ran to a 16th place finish. Close one for women's volleyball. They lost on the road at North Greenville 3-1. And what a success for field hockey as they get their first ever postseason win as they shut out Queens 2-0. And so much to beam with pride about as a Belmont Abbey field hockey fan as this program continues to build towards greatness. Congratulations on a great season for field hockey. Women's soccer opened the week with a 2-0 win against Emmanuel in the Conference Carolinas tournament. And how about Mike Lynch's team? They're moving on to the semifinals against Mount Olive thanks to KB Brianna's overtime goal against Lee's McRae. On the men's side, victories over the Bobcats for both programs. The men also knocked out Lee's McRae as they move on to the semifinals against number 1 Francis Marion. Trevor Mueller scored the only goal in a 1-0 win. It's the 6th straight postseason win for John Keating's program going back to the spring, and Rugby beat Lander in a 5-0 forfeit. And when we come back, we'll talk to women's lacrosse coach Molly Lehman-Lewis. She's our guest this week on The Corner. After this on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
They actually help with building the inner man of each student.
My coaches have been great. I've really transformed.
You get a sense of community. To be an athlete and to be involved in that has been a really fun experience.
Hi, friends, and we welcome you back to the Crusader Corner here in the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. Director of Broadcasting Jeffrey Childs, and another guest this week. And we welcome in women's lacrosse head coach Molly Lehman-Lewis. Molly, welcome to the Corner.
Hey, glad to be here.
Well, as we welcome you into the Corner this week, I wanted to talk to you about your journey, how you got here to Belmont Abbey, and what has it taken for you to make this journey and build up this lacrosse program?
That's a long story. I'll make it quick. I was here in 2010 as an assistant, 2012, and was able to come back in 2017. Welcome back by our AD, who was a basketball coach at the time I was here, Coach Miss. So that was really, really special to re-enter and come back to a place I love.
And when you think about programs and coaches, everybody builds programs their own way. You've taken a different approach to building your program. What has it taken for you to build it up step by step and get it to this point now?
Well, our program has a long legacy. I believe it started in 2005, 2006. So we have an awesome alumni base. They are the most supportive. We have the best homecoming and alumni game every year. But basically, we're going into year 5, and we've had phenomenal coaches like Kelly Dowd, and now have just brought in Kylie Eastman, who graduated last year. But over the years, we've just brought in some amazing recruits and just continued to build our culture and get better every year.
Belmont Abbey is a special place. The women's lacrosse program, special place as well, special program. Kids are looking for different things when they commit to a program now. What is your recruiting philosophy, and how do you use the uniqueness of Belmont Abbey to sell itself to these kids?
Yeah, so I think what you get here at the Abbey is a really competitive athletic program, while the balance of academics. We have really strong achievers in the classroom here. Charlotte in our backyard is awesome for internships. I have athletes on my program who they eat, sleep, study, work, and compete. So that's what they do.
And last year was another great year for you. Now, moving into 2022, this is your 5th year. What's kind of things you'd like to improve on in the program, and what are some things you'd like to continue as you've continued on this standard of excellence?
Man, things we'd like to continue. Obviously, we'd love to come out of this year with a conference championship. We have a really robust schedule this year. I think we're going to see a lot of great out-of-conference competition, and I think this team is ready for it.
Going back to recruiting it just a little bit, we talked a lot about the Abbey and what makes it special here and the academics and the spiritual component and everything. If you had to kind of make your elevator pitch to recruits about the Abbey, what would you tell them?
This is a great place to build your faith, to compete at a high level, achieve academically, gain another family, win conference championships, attempt NCAAs. We see that around us every day with the programs we're surrounded with. And then, just achieve academically. We have Charlotte in our backyard. It's phenomenal for internships. And, the athletes in my program are doing it all.
Molly Lehman-Lewis, really appreciate you joining us here this week on the Crusader Corner. And when we come back, we'll look at the week ahead in Abbey Athletics. You stay tuned on the Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.
Oh, this? I was playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
And we're back here in the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network. And thanks to women's lacrosse coach Molly Lehman-Lewis for joining us today. And now it's time where we look ahead on the schedule to see what the Crusaders are up to this week. It's women's basketball season, a big challenge for the women as they go north to play Liberty in an exhibition Tuesday night. I'm excited to broadcast the first home game for the women on Friday night as they welcome in Tusculum at 5 for the Conference Carolinas and SAC Challenge. Watch the season start live on BASN on Friday night, and the very next night, it's Catawba also in the challenge. That one starts at 5 p.m. The wrestling team looks to bounce back against Newberry in a Wednesday night road match. They're also at Emmanuel on Saturday at 9 a.m. Women's volleyball, they close out the regular season. It's your last chance to see them in action on Wednesday night against King. As always, get your tickets at abbeyathletics.com/tickets. If you can't join us in person, always you can watch live on the BASN. For the soccer teams, great story continues. The postseason climate intensifies. Both programs take on the number 1 overall seeds in the semifinals, women against Mount Olive and the men against Francis Marion. The men play at 11 a.m. on Friday, while the women have a 4:30 kickoff in Florence. And men's basketball, they're about ready to tip it off as well. They hit the road in the Conference Carolina SAC Challenge. They meet Wingate on Friday night at 5:30, and they continue the challenge the next night on Saturday against Mars Hill at 5:30. Well, that's all for the Corner this week. We're grateful to you for joining us, and we're grateful to women's lacrosse coach Molly Lehman-Lewis for joining us here on the Corner as well. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Have a great week, and raise the red.
Thank you.